This is the lecture of IFS Chapter 2. The name of Chapter 2 is Regulatory and Promotional Institution. There are mainly 3 points, or we can say 3 point or 3 notes are there. First is Reserve Bank of India, second is SEBI, and third is IRDA. As far as Indian financial system is concerned, there are mainly 3 monetary or regulatory institutions are there. First is Reserve Bank of India, second is SEBI, and third is IRDA. Reserve Bank of India. First of all, I explain the Reserve Bank of India. Now, what is Reserve Bank of India? As far as India is concerned, each and every country in the world have a bank, or we can say which act as a banker to the government. It has a monopoly of note issue and control power over the entire banking system in the country. The need for a central bank in India was felt as early as in 1773, when Warren Hastings, the governor of Bengal, recommended the establishment of a central bank of Bengal and Bihar. It was set up, but it did not function for a long time. So, several other suggestions were proposed for a central bank, but the proposal resulted into a definite step in 1921. In the year 1926, the Commission of Indian Currency and Finance, which is also known as Hilton-Young Commission, suggested the establishment of Reserve Bank of India. Now, origin of Reserve Bank of India. Second point in Reserve Bank of India, that is central bank has come much later than the commercial banks. The first systematic central bank was the Bank of England, established in 1844. Reserve Bank of India was constituted in April 1935. This is the main important line. Please note that Reserve Bank of India was constituted in April 1935. Now, third point is objective of RBI. There are mainly 2 objectives of RBI. First is to secure monetary stability within the country. It means in the monetary level, price stability should be consistent. That is the first main point of Reserve Bank of India. Then second objective is to operate the currency and credit system to the advantage of the country. Second is to operate the currency and credit system to the advantages of the country. So there are main 2 objectives of RBI. Reserve Bank as a now role of RBI. First is Reserve Bank as a private shareholders banks. Reserve Bank in that Reserve Bank of India was originally constituted as a private shareholders bank, following the model of leading foreign central bank at the time of its establishment. The share capital of the bank was 5 crore divided into share of 100 each, fully paid up. Then after, another point in Reserve Bank of India is nationalization of the Reserve Bank of India. In the context of the need for a close coordination between the monetary and credit policy of the Reserve Bank and the macroeconomic policy of the government, The need for assuming state ownership of the bank was felt many times in a past, but it was only after the attainment of independence in August 1947 that public opinion began to assert itself in favor of nationalization. Then another point is organizational structure and management of the bank. There are mainly 5 points are there as far as organizational structure is concerned. First of all, one governor to be appointed by the central government for Reserve Bank of India. Then another 4 deputy governor to be appointed by the central government. Then after another 4 director to be nominated by the central government, 1 from each of the 4 local boards. यानी कि ये चारों के चारों, पहला तो एक गवर्नर होगा, उसके बाद 4 डेप्यूटी गवर्नर, उसके बाद 4 डायरेक्टर्स होंगे जो नॉमिनेट किए जाएंगे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट थ्रू, 1 फ्रॉम ईच। उसमें से ये 4 डायरेक्टर्स में से एक कौन सा होगा, बोर्ड जो है 4 बोर्ड लोकल बोर्ड है उसमें से एक चुना जाएगा। 10 directors are nominated, another 10 directors are nominated by central government. They are expert drawn from field of business, industry, finance and cooperation institutions. So another 10 directors are also one of the member of structure of RBI. Then after in last, 1 government official form from the Ministry of Finance, usually the secretary to be nominated by the central government. 1 of government official, a secretary should be nominated for RBI. So these are the main 5 points as far as organizational structure is concerned. 1 is governor, 4 is deputy governor, 4 is directors, 10 another directors and 1 secretary. So total is 20 members are there as far as RBI is concerned. Now functions of RBI. This is the main points, IMP points of it. There are mainly 3 functions of RBI: central banking functions or traditional functions, second is supervisory functions, and third is development functions or promotional functions. Now I explain first function of RBI, that is central banking functions. These functions are also known as regulatory functions of the Reserve Bank, which it performs as the central bank of the country. First is to issue of currency notes. First function of RBI to issue currency note, जो हम डेली लाइफ में यूज़ करते हैं currency notes, वो इश्यू कौन करता है, RBI. सेकंड इज रिजर्व बैंक एज अ बैंकर टू द गवर्नमेंट, यानी कि बैंक्स को मैनेज करते हैं, जो कॉमर्शियल बैंक है, प्राइवेट कॉमर्शियल कोऑपरेटिव सब बैंक का मैनेजमेंट RBI करता है. Then third function is Reserve Bank as a banker's bank and as a lender of last resort. रिजर्व बैंक बैंकर की बैंक है, वो बैंक्स को भी, जो कॉमर्शियल बैंक्स है उसको भी क्या करती है, लेंडर, एज ए लेंडर के तौर पे फंड प्रोवाइड करता है. देन अनदर 4th पॉइंट फंक्शन इज रिजर्व बैंक एज कंट्रोलर ऑफ क्रेडिट. जो भी क्रेडिट फैसिलिटी प्रोवाइड की जाती है एज लोन फैसिलिटी में, सो उसका कंट्रोलिंग एक्टिविटी भी रिजर्व बैंक करता है. देन आफ्टर अनदर 5th पॉइंट इज रिजर्व बैंक एज अ कस्टोडियन ऑफ फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व. फॉरेन एक्सचेंज एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट बिजनेस, एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट एक्टिविटी के तहत जो कुछ भी फॉरेन एक्सचेंज होता है करेंसी का, इंडियन रुपीस का, उसका मैनेजमेंट भी RBI करता है. Then RBI is a clearing house. Then another clearing house Another function of RBI is क्लियरिंग हाउस. डे टू डे जो भी फाइनेंशियल एक्टिविटीज़ वगैरह होती है उसका क्लियरिंग फंक्शन, क्लियरिंग ट्रांजैक्शन एक्टिविटी जो कुछ भी होती है, बैंकिंग ट्रांजैक्शन, फाइनेंशियल एक्टिविटीज़, उसका क्लियरिंग हाउस भी क्या है? RBI है. देन आफ्टर secondary function is supervisory function. RBI has the supervisory functions of all commercial banks, private sector banks, cooperative banks, other financial institution bank. Then after third function is promotional function. In that first is agricultural finance. एग्रीकल्चरल फाइनेंस में जो कुछ भी एग्रीकल्चरल एक्टिविटीज़ वगैरह जो होती है उसमें फिनेंस प्रोवाइड करना. देन आफ्टर इंडस्ट्रियल फाइनेंस, इंडस्ट्री को मोटिवेट करने के लिए RBI काफ़ी सारी पॉलिसी इंडस्ट्रियल फाइनेंस में प्रोवाइड करती है. उसमें काफ़ी सारे IFCI जैसी इंस्टीट्यूशन आती है. एग्रीकल्चरल फाइनेंस में नाबार्ड है तो वो एक्ट. देन आफ्टर थर्ड इज़ फॉरेन ट्रेड. इम्पोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट एक्टिविटीज़ में जो कुछ भी प्रमोशनल एक्टिविटी वगैरह करवानी हो तो वो RBI प्रमोशनल एक्टिविटी के तहत फॉरेन ट्रेड में क्या करते हैं? एक्सपोर्ट इम्पोर्ट एक्टिविटीज़ को प्रमोट करते हैं. देन आफ्टर अनदर प्रमोशनल फंक्शन ऑफ RBI इज़ बिल मार्केट स्कीम. बिल्स, कमर्शियल पेपर, सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ डिपॉजिट्स वगैरह जो कुछ भी होता है उसका मैनेजमेंट भी RBI करता है. देन आफ्टर साउंड डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री. साउंड डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री बैंकिंग एक्टिविटी को अच्छे से मैनेज करते हैं. So these are all the main functions of RBI. First is issue of currency note, primary function, secondary function and promotional function. In primary function, issue of currency notes, etc. In supervisory function, and third is promotional function. Then after evaluation of the working of RBI. Then after the objective of the RBI as a regulator and supervisor of the financial system are to maintain public confidence in the system. Then another evaluation of working of RBI is the Reserve Bank manage the public debt of the central bank and government. Then the RBI has managed foreign exchange reserve efficiently. Then also RBI as such that they cover only organized banking sector. Fifth point is autonomy of the central bank is crucial issue. So these are all the main points of RBI from introduction to important evaluation of the working of RBI. In that IMP point is functions of RBI. Now SEBI. What is SEBI? Another regulatory and promotional institution. Another regulatory and promotional institutions of finance is SEBI. SEBI is the full form of SEBI, Securities Exchange and Board of India. जनरली SEBI में क्या होता है? SEBI the flow of fund arising from the savings and investments of various segments like household sectors, business sector, government, financial intermediaries like banks and financial institutions, and external sector involving flow of funds outside the country. So these are Before establishment of SEBI in 1992, regulation of securities were managed by the Capital Issue Control Act 1947. First of all, functions of SEBI. SEBI generally यूज फॉर सेकेंडरी मार्केट सेल्स एक्ट जो फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स है उसका सेल्स डिबेंचर्स वगैरह जो कॉरपोरेट सेक्टर में फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट यूज़ होता है उसका रेगुलेशन सेबी करता है. सो फंक्शंस ऑफ सेबी फर्स्ट इज़ टू रजिस्टर्ड एंड रेगुलेट द सिक्योरिटी इश्यू इन द प्राइमरी मार्केट. प्राइमरी मार्केट यानी कि IPO FPO जो बड़ी बड़े कॉरपोरेट्स वगैरह होते हैं, ठीक है, उसमें IPO FPO फर्स्ट ऑफ पब्लिक ऑफर शेयर कंपनी क्या करती है, शेयर इश्यू करती है. सो वो रजिस्टर करना और रेगुलेट करना सेबी का काम है. देन आफ्टर टू रजिस्टर एंड रेगुलेट द डेडलाइन इन फाइनेंशियल सिक्योरिटीज लाइक इक्विटी शेयर्स, प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स, debentures, etc. Then after another function is to register and regulate the capital market intermediaries like broker, merchant, उसका रेगुलेशन करना. उसके बाद रजिस्टर एंड रेगुलेट द वर्किंग ऑफ म्यूचुअल फंड्स, वेंचर कैपिटल फंड्स एट्सेट्रा. जो म्यूचुअल फंड कंपनीज वगैरह होती है उसका रेगुलेशन और रजिस्ट्रेशन करना. देन आफ्टर टू रिकॉग्नाइज एंड रेगुलेट द फंक्शंस ऑफ स्टॉक एक्सचेंजेस एट्सेट्रा. देन आफ्टर टू प्रमोट एंड रेगुलेट द सेल्फ रेगुलेटरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. जो सेल्फ रेगुलेटरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होती है प्राइवेट और उसका भी फाइनेंस कंपनीज, प्राइवेट फाइनेंशियल कंपनीज, उसका भी रेगुलेशन सेबी करती है. देन टू प्रमोट द इन्वेस्टर प्रोटेक्शन. अब उसके बाद लास्ट फंक्शन है जो इन्वेस्टर्स जो होते हैं, इन्वेस्टर्स क्या करते हैं, इन्वेस्ट करते हैं कॉरपोरेट सेक्टर्स में या कोई भी अदर फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस में, तो उसका प्रोटेक्शन भी सेबी करती है. उसके लिए सेबी कौन सा फंक्शन प्रोवाइड करते हैं, वेरियस रेगुलेटरी फ्रेमवर्क ऑन सिक्योरिटीज ट्रेडिंग एज वेल एज एडुकेट करते हैं, एडुकेट द इन्वेस्टर्स ऑल्सो. Then after another function is to prohibit fraudulent and unfair trade practices in securities market. कोई भी गलत एक्टिविटी होती है तो उसका प्रोहिबिशन भी सेबी करता है. Then to prohibit insider trading in securities. Insider trading securities जो कुछ भी गलत एक्टिविटी होती है वो भी उसका भी सेबी रेगुलेट करते हैं. Then after to prohibit substantial acquisition of shares under mergers, acquisitions and takeovers. Another function is to regulate and monitor the online trading on stock exchange. Another function is of SEBI to regulate and monitor the dematerialization trading in securities. Now duties of SEBI. First is to protect interest of investors. Second is to develop and regulate the healthy securities market. Then after rights of SEBI. First is SEBI enjoys powers to regulate the following entities: stock exchange, depositories, mutual fund, merchant bank, venture capital companies or venture capital funds, stockbroker, sub-broker, underwriters, custodians, all etc. All these financial entities SEBI has a right to monitor. Then SEBI has the power to issue guidelines on respect of following. In that, first is information disclosure for operational transparency. Second is pricing of issues. Third is share issue and bond issues. Then after bonus issue and right issues, firm and preferential allotment of specialized institutions like QIBs. Then after transfer of share among promoters, development of innovative financial instruments, etc. So these are all the right of SEBI. Then after control over the stock market, that is also one of the main function of SEBI. Generally, in primary market, there are mainly two types of stock market. First is primary market and second is secondary market. So in both market, SEBI gives or regulate all the financial activities of stock market. Then after IRDA. Now in this chapter, third point is IRDA. फर्स्ट पॉइंट हमने पढ़ा था आरबीआई, उसके बारे में भी शॉर्ट नोट आती है. सेकंड पॉइंट था हमारा सेबी, उसके बारे में भी शॉर्ट नोट आती है. और थर्ड पॉइंट है, थर्ड एंड लास्ट पॉइंट ऑफ दिस चैप्टर, दैट इज़ रेगुलेटरी एंड प्रमोशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन इज उसमें थर्ड पॉइंट है आईआरडीए, मतलब कि इंश्योरेंस रेगुलेटरी एंड डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी. इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज वगैरह जो होती है पब्लिक प्राइवेट, वो उसका रेगुलेशन कौन करता है? आईआरडीए, इंश्योरेंस रेगुलेटरी एंड डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी. In that, as far as in India is concerned, insurance has a deep-rooted history. It finds mention in the writing of Manu and Kautilya. The principle of insurance is the same, namely pooling of resources from a number of participants and compensating. In 1993, the Government of India set up a committee under the chairmanship of Sri R.N. Malhotra, former Governor of RBI. The purpose of recommendation for reform is the insurance sector. So, in 1998, IRDA was the outcome of the recommendation of Malhotra Committee. The IRDA Act passed in the Indian Parliament came into force in the year 1999. Now, objectives of IRDA. The main function of IRDA are to take care of the policyholders' interest. Whatever policy holders होते हैं, इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी होल्डर्स का टेक केयर करना. देन अनदर फंक्शन ऑब्जेक्टिव टू ओपन द इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर फॉर प्राइवेट सेक्टर्स. प्राइवेट सेक्टर कंपनीज को भी इंश्योरेंस में पॉलिसी प्रोवाइड करवाना. देन आफ्टर टू इंश्योर continued financial soundness and solvency. Then to regulate insurance and reinsurance companies. जो भी इंश्योरेंस री इंश्योरेंस कंपनी उसका रेगुलेशन करना. देन आफ्टर टू एलिमिनेट डिसऑनेस्टी एंड अनहेल्दी कंपटीशन. जो भी कंपटीशन है उसमें कुछ गलत एक्टिविटी होती है उसका रेगुलेशन करना आईआरडीए का काम है. देन आफ्टर टू सुपरवाइज द एक्टिविटीज़ ऑफ द इंटरमीडियरीज. To supervise the activities of the intermediaries. जो भी इंटरमीडियरी उसका सुपरविज़न करना. देन आफ्टर टू अमेंड द इंश्योरेंस एक्ट 1938, LIC एक्ट 1956 एंड जी जनरल बिजनेस नेशनलाइजेशन एक्ट 1972, उसका अमेंडमेंट वगैरह, उसमें जो कुछ भी चेंजेस वगैरह उस एक्ट का क्या करना, अच्छे से पालन करवाना इंश्योरेंस कंपनी में. So these are the main objectives of IRDA. Then after duties, powers and functions of role of IRDA. The role of IRDA is to make insurance business running smoothly So that's why first duty of IRDA is to regulate, promote and ensure orderly growth of the insurance business. जो भी इंश्योरेंस बिजनेस है उसका रेगुलेशन करना, प्रमोट करना उसको और इंश्योर करना कि उसका ग्रोथ हो सके. Then after second duty of IRDA is to exercise all powers and functions of the controller of insurance. Then after another duty is to protect the interest of the policyholders in settlement of claims and terms and conditions of policies. Then after another duty is to promote and regulate professional organizations connected with the insurance business. Then after to call for information from, undertake inspection and conduct investigations, including audit of the insurer, intermediaries and other relevant organizations and persons. Then another duty is to control and regulate the rates and terms and conditions that may be offered by the insurers in respect of general insurance matters. Then another duty of IRDA is to prescribe the manner and form in which accounts will be submitted and maintained by insurers and intermediaries. Then after another duties is to regulate investment of funds and to regulate margin of solvency. Investment of funds उसका regulation. Then after to adjudicate disputes between insurers and intermediaries. Then after it has started its function processing appointment new insurance agents. So these are main duties of IRDA, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority. Then after operations of IRDA, it is first operation is it is the sole authority for awarding licenses. Certificates for life and general insurance must be separately issued. Then after second operation is all insurance intermediaries such as agents and corporate agents have to undergo compulsory training before obtaining a license. Then after third point is in operation of IRDA is the Insurance Association and Life Insurance and General Insurance Council have been revived. Then after another point is it has recognized the Accrual Society of India and Insurance Institute of India as a nodal organization responsible for accrual and insurance education. मतलब कि इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज वगैरह जो होती है उसमें मैनेजमेंट किस तरीके से होता है, अक्रूवल कंपनीज के थ्रू होता है. रिस्क मैनेज किस तरीके से करें उसका अक्रूवल कंपनीज सोसाइटीज़ होती है वो करते हैं. तो उसमें काफ़ी सारे कैलकुलेशंस वगैरह होते हैं. तो वो उसका मैनेजमेंट अक्रूवल कंपनीज का मैनेजमेंट और सभी अक्रूवल कंपनीज यानी कि सभी इंश्योरेंस कंपनी जो होती है वो अपनी अलग अलग अक्रूवल डिपार्टमेंट कंपनीज होती है उसके अक्रूवल बेसिस पे इंश्योरेंस कंपनी चलती है. तो वो सभी अक्रूवल बेसिस पे जो भी कंपनी चलती है उसका भी मैनेजमेंट IRDA करते हैं. Then it has also entered into a MOU with the Indian Institute of Management Bangalore to further its objective of insurance research and education. It has published insurance advertisement and disclosure regulation to ensure that the insurer companies adhere to fair trade practices. मतलब कि जो भी ट्रेड प्रैक्टिसेस हो रही है इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज के बीच में उसका फेयर ट्रेड एक्टिविटी हो उसका मैनेजमेंट भी IRDA करता है. देन सो दीज आर द मेन points are concerned as far as this chapter is concerned. So I repeat the all points of this chapter. First of all, the name of this chapter is Regulatory and Promotional Institutions of India. In that there are main 3 points in your syllabus: RBI, Reserve Bank of India, SEBI and IRDA. In that RBI, the main function is origin of RBI, objectives and roles. Objective of RBI, nationalization of RBI, organizational structure of RBI and functions of RBI is important. Then after SEBI, functions of SEBI, duties of SEBI, rights of SEBI, authorities of SEBI. Then after IRDA, introduction, constitution, objective, duties and powers and functions of IRDA. So these are all the main points of chapter 2 of IFS, Indian Financial System, BCom SEM 3. Thank you.